y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kathy. This is Kathy's Country Life, and today I'm going to be canning ground beef. I've been wanting to do this forever, and I've got an abundance of ground beef where we had a cow processed, a half a cow. So I want to get it canned up for ease, for convenience. I can never remember to lay out ground beef to thaw for something that I'm fixing. So I thought this would be just great, and I've heard good things about it, that it turns out great, wonderful, all that. So we're going to try it today. We've got my my nephew is in town, and today is his 16th birthday, and he wanted me to cook fried chicken for him. And then he decided this morning that he'd rather go out to eat. There's a store he wants to go to. So, change of plans on that. So I've gotten ready. They just got through. He came up here with his best friend, and they have been hunting all weekend. His friend shot an 8-point deer. And so they have been over there along with Chris, my husband, skinning it. And they're going to get all that done and come home, take showers and all that, and then we're going to head out. So I thought I'd go ahead and get my ground beef cooking. So I have got, I think it's 16 pounds I laid out, and I'm doing it in my big roaster pan instead of doing it batches on the stove. So I'm going to get all this out and into here and start getting it cooked up, and then I'll be back. Okay, that was 15 pounds of ground beef is what I put in here. So I'm going to start breaking it up. Now my husband's come in and is rushing me, and I was like, well, I've got to get this done first. I can't just go off and leave it halfway cooked. I'm not putting any seasonings in here. No salt, pepper, anything like that. I want to, I'll season it in whatever dish that I use this in, which the majority of it will be Mexican dishes and Italian dishes where you need ground beef. I'm going to turn it up some, get it kicking and going. I would rather sit here and do this all in one session, but our plans got flipped and I needed to get this cooked up. So I want to get it done. I don't want it brown and caramelized done. I just want it all brown, you know, through and through. And then I will unplug it, turn the heat off, cover it up, and then when we get back, we'll finish it up. I washed 18 pint jars. I washed those in my dishwasher on high heat to get them good and clean and sterilized. And then I will heat this meat back up before we can it. And I'm going to put all the jars in my oven on 200 and let them get hot. And that's an extra sterilization process. And I want to drain as much grease off of here as I can. Which my plan is to run it through a colander with hot water over it to kind of rinse some of that grease off. Get my big spoon. And my thinking was that maybe a pound of meat would be a pint jar. So I got 15 pounds. So I should have 15 pint jars, but I went ahead and did extra just in case it goes over. Oh, that's a lot of meat to have to deal with. It gets heavy. Get to the bottom and lift it up. You know the drill. I made up some of my no-knead bread this morning because I thought that we would have that for dinner or supper tonight for his birthday, and now things are planned, so I've got some no-knead bread I'll be baking up tonight for the heck of it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Please don't let him come over here rushing me. This has got to cook. So I'm going to get this all cut up. I've already burnt myself right here touching that. I'm telling you what, it don't matter what I'm doing. Whatever, if I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking, I'm going to burn myself. I will burn myself. I've got scars. All kind of places where I always burn myself. It don't matter. It don't matter. I can be boiling a pot of water and I'm going to burn myself. I'm feeling my tongue out while I'm doing this. I know that looks stupid, like trying to get it stirred up. Ooh, there was some sizzling going on down there. Okay. Okay, I'll be back when this gets through. And I want to show y'all this, which I'll probably, hello. I'll probably do a video on it, but I haven't always made homemade biscuits, but for years I've made homemade biscuits. For years, I could not get a homemade biscuit to taste good, to have the right texture, and it drove me crazy. So I was on a mission probably about 5 or 6 years ago that I was going to learn to make homemade biscuits because my husband likes homemade biscuits. He's used to, you know, his grandmother made them and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And mine did too, but, you know, I didn't pay attention. To go back in time. But, so I was on a mission. And I looked at recipes. I looked at every YouTube video there was on making homemade biscuits. I studied them. I researched. And I finally, after many fails, I finally found one that works. And it's an old, you know, you do it like an old-timey biscuit where you have, you know, a big bowl of flour that you keep. That's your flour bowl. And you make the biscuit in there. And I use shortening, and a lot of people are against shortening. I'm not one of those people. I use shortening. I made them for years and years. I didn't mess with them much. And matter of fact, when Brenda Gant came out with her how to make homemade biscuits, mine was very simple. That was very similar to how I made. Stupid phone. That's how I made mine. Very similar. I saw a video of somebody else. So anyway, back to the future here. Learned how to make biscuits. Well, I saw several videos. Becky at Acre Homestead had done where she made homemade biscuits, and their layers, how she would fold them, roll them, twist them, fold them, and it made layers. So this morning, I used to cook a big breakfast on Sunday mornings. If my husband's home on Saturday mornings, if he ain't got some kind of chores or something he's got to be out doing, I'll do it on Saturday morning too. But on Sunday mornings, I will cook breakfast. And so this morning, I stared at them. I thought, I'm going to try to make them a different way. But I'm going to use my recipe and fold them and turn them and fold them and try to make a flaky biscuit. Okay, so I'm rambling. So I made my biscuit dough like I normally do, and I did that. I put it out, and normally when I make my biscuit dough, I don't use a roller or roller pin or anything. I just pat it out. I give it a couple of kneading moments, not much. Just pat it out, cut it out with a biscuit cutter. So these, I rolled. I did like a third fold on them, turned it, rolled, did a third, did it like 3 or 4 times. So anyway, this is the biscuit that I got. Is it focusing? I don't have my glasses on. And they didn't turn out flaky. You can, if that's focusing, you can see it has some layers in it. And when you pull it apart, if I can pull it apart, well, when you pull it apart, it does have some layers to it. But anyway, they were very good. They were a little bit, how do I say, they weren't tough. They weren't as tender, I guess because you're messing with the dough more, but they were very good. I really liked them. My husband liked them too. So I'll show y'all how I did that. I adapted my biscuit recipe a little bit over the last year or so, where I don't use all shortening. I still use shortening, but I add some butter too. Baby steps, baby steps. I haven't attempted to do the biscuit all butter because it took me so long to perfect a homemade biscuit. I don't want any more wasted batches. So I'm just kind of like I started doing, you know, a little bit of butter in place of the shortening, and now I'm about half and half shortening, half and half butter, and they're okay. But I'll show y'all how I do my biscuits one day. Okay, we're still going on it. I just wanted to show you that, and they were really tall too. You can see they were really tall. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, we're back. That took longer than we thought it was going to, but we were able to eat and get our bellies full. So my ground beef is done. It's just turned brown. It doesn't have any, you know, caramelization on it or anything. It's just done. I've drained the grease off. That was a process. I got my metal strainer and my big plastic bowl. I put my metal strainer in here and scooped some in, got as much grease off as possible, ran the colander under hot water, and then I scooped it in, well, I've got a big pot over here in the oven, and I scooped it in that pot. I did it till all of it was out, rinsed out the pot real good, and then poured the meat back in. I'm sure I didn't get all of it out, but the majority of it. Okay, so what I've done is I have put my jars in my oven and got them warm. I've got the meat on warm, and I've got a stock pot over there that I filled up with water, and then I used some Better Than bouillon in it just to kind of make a quickie beef broth to fill the jars up with. So we're going to get started. I'm going to bring you down here. We're going to fill up these jars and get busy. Okay. My nephew wanted Hello Dolly bars for his birthday, so I also came home and made up a batch of those for him, and I just took those out of the oven. He'll be over here in a little bit. He wants to be on camera. I'm filling it up to the top, but it's loose and it will be, and I can push it down a lot more. But to start out, I'm just going to fill it up to the top, and then we'll get a spoon and loosely pack it down. You don't want it tight packed. That was a little too much, but we'll square it all out when we get through. Okay, I'll bring you back when I get done with this. Okay, I got all the jars filled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 19 jars, is that right? 5, 5, 5, and 4. That's 19 jars. So 15 pounds of meat came out to 19 pint jars. Pretty good, pretty good. So here I've got that beef broth that I made with the Better Than Bouillon. I filled this, I think this is a 5-quart stock pot, 6-quart stock pot. Filled it up to about that far and put 1 tablespoon in here just to make it just a mild broth. And I'm going to start filling up the jars with this broth to cover the meat. And you can hear, I don't know if you can hear it, but when the water goes down, it's going in between all that meat and it's gurgling. Okay, I will continue this process until I get them all filled up. Okay, we got all the liquid in, and now we're going to take, I use a chopstick to debubble them, and that's, you're just going to move all the meat around inside, in the middle, and get any bubbles. And this will also make the water sink down into all the nooks and crannies more, and so we will need to add some more water to a lot of these, or broth rather. And like I said, I'm not adding any salt or anything to this. I'll season as I cook with it. So you don't want your meat so packed in the jars that you can't get something down in here to move it around. One that's not safe canning, because you're pressure canning it and you need the temperature to get up to a certain degree throughout the whole jar to kill bacteria and all that. And if it's so firmly packed, the middle don't get that, the benefit of the pressure canning, and your food can spoil. This one I put too much liquid in, so I'm hoping a lot of it to go back down. Okay, now this is the point where you just kind of take a look at all your jars and you see, you see what needs more liquid, what needs some liquid taken out, because you want them all about even. I'm doing a little less than an inch headspace. Now I can tell that this jar right here is too full, and that one can use a little, so we're just going to do that. Shuffle around, just eyeball everything. So I know this one back here needs a little bit more broth. This one, that one looks okay. This one, this one. one, and that one. Okay, I think they look good. Okay, so now I'm going to take a cloth with some white vinegar and we're going to wipe the rims off really good because they're greasy and your lids won't seal. My water is over there and I'm using 2 canners today. I don't like to use both my canners at the same time. I can do it, but my one with the jiggle, I have to pay a lot of attention to instead of the one that just has the pressure gauge. I kind of know where to set my stove on, where to have the knob on my pressure canner with the pressure gauge. And I know that eye does well. So when I get out my jiggler one, I really have to pay attention to it and keep adjusting the heat and stuff. But it's getting late at night and I don't want to run 2 batches in the same, run a batch, because these have got the pressure can for 75 minutes for pints, 90 minutes if you're doing quarts. I can't remember if I've done this row or not, but it's got a birthplace on it, so I'm going to say Hatton. Okay. Now we're just going to put our lids and rings on. Finger tight. I'd rather have done these in wide mouth jars, but I didn't have any. I mean, I had the jars, I didn't have any wide mouth lids. Okay, I'm going to continue on with this process and I'll be back. Okay, I got them all in. 9 in here, 10 in here. This one is a little bit bigger. That's why I couldn't get a 10 in that one. This one's a little bit rounder. I mean, it looks a little bit bigger in diameter. Okay, now which one goes on what? Alright, this is the jiggler one. A little bit of ground beef that was left in my roaster pan.
What's that?
He took a bite of it He goes, oh gosh, that's horrible. And I was like, it ain't seasoned or anything. So he took the salt shaker over there and just spooning it out and sprinkling salt on it. Let's see. Come on. Yeah, okay. So we know the drill. If you're new to canning, this isn't really the video to watch because I'm not going through it thoroughly, but lid on, I'm turning it up to high. We're going to let it vent, come out of the vent pipe here. Let it vent for steam come out, let it vent for 10 minutes. Then I'm going to put the weights on and bring it up to 11, 12 pounds of pressure, between 10 and 12 pounds of pressure. When it gets to the pressure, I will start timing it for 75 minutes. So I'll bring you back then. Okay, I'm back and it's the next morning. By the time that the ground beef got through canning, it was bedtime. So when it was through, I let the canners come back down to no pressure, and I got them out and I went to bed with the music of the lids pinging. And so this morning I got up and I checked them all. They all sealed. This is what it looks like. Got 19 pints. I'm so excited about this. There is a greasy film on the outside of the jars, which is to be expected. And so when I get back from work this evening, I will give these a soapy water bath, and it's perfectly fine. I put them in the sink with a soapy dishcloth and warm water, and I just rub them all over, rinse them off, and they're fine. It doesn't break the seal or anything like that. You're fine to wash your jars off. So I'll do that. I'll label them. I'll take the rings off, and into my pantry they go if I can find room for them. But I'm so excited about these. I will, when I make something with these, I'll bring y'all along and give you my review if they taste the same as getting ground beef out and frying it up. I think it will. I've heard good reviews about it. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining me again. I would have rather have done this all in just one, well, to you it was all in one, but I had to break it up in phases, and I don't like doing that, especially when I'm pressure canning, but things come up and that's how it is. So guys, have a great day. This is Monday. It's the beginning of the week. So y'all have a blessed week, and I will see you next time.